And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment, which is going to be talking about picks 11 to 20 in this MLB Draft. But before we do that, though, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show for today. All right, so going over picks 11 to 20 here for this draft, and let's get into it. So, at 11 overall, we have the Detroit Tigers selecting Bryce Rayner, a shortstop out of high school. Now, Rayner is a really good pick in my opinion. I really like this pick for Detroit. Is from the powerhouse high school that is Harvard Westlake out there in California. Westlake has produced a ton of MLB talent like Pete Armstrong, Max Rage, Jack Flaherty, I think some others as well. So obviously has the pedigree there, but Rayner has some really nice hit tool here as a lefty power shortstop. Again, has some really nice power, 55 hit grade, 60 power grade, running 55 grade. Might have to move off shortstop in the long term, maybe a second baseman or third baseman, but I think his hitting will really carry him, and I think this is a really nice long-term pick by Detroit. I maybe would have picked an MLB potential bat, a guy who can come up in the next year or so because of how dire this Tigers team is in bats. I mean, they need bats so badly. And yeah, I think that they really, really need bats. Ooh, sorry about that. We need to, sorry, I forgot to change. There we go. This Tigers team really needs bats, and they are able to get one, but a guy for the long term in Bryce Rayner. So I still think Rayner's a really good pick. I like just the talent for Detroit, but maybe would have picked someone more and I'll be ready. Next, number 12, we have the Boston Red Sox selecting Braden Montgomery, outfielder from Texas A&M. Montgomery was arguably the biggest faller of the entire draft. I would say he's one of, not because there's a guy I'm going to talk about later down the line that was probably the biggest faller. But yeah, was a guy I expected, or most people expected, to go in the top 10. I believe I had him number 8 to the Angels in my last mock, so definitely did not expect him to fall to 12, but he did have an ankle injury that he did suffer at Texas A&M, so I'm sure teams were worried about that, which is one of the reasons he fell. But overall, the Red Sox are getting a really great outfitter here. To be able to get this guy at the spot they were in is really fantastic. A guy who's a top 10 talent by most regards. A switch-hitting outfielder who has a 50 hit grade, 60 power grade, 50 run grade, an arm 70 grade. I mean, it's just a pure stereotypical power arm right fielder here. Is a absolutely fantastic talent. You know, I wasn't the highest on him. I've said that before on the show, but I think at 12, it's such a fantastic get that doesn't. I think it's just a great pick. So, I think the power potential here is absolutely fantastic, especially in a stadium like Boston. I think his swing will work really well, being a switch hitter. So, yeah, I think this is a really, really nice pick for the Red Sox. Has a hitter's body as well. 6'2", 220, pretty perfect for a corner outfielder. Really nice selection by them, and I like it a lot. So, yeah, good for the Red Sox. 13, we had James Tibbs going to the San Francisco Giants, an outfielder from Florida State. Tibbs, lefty outfielder guy, going top 10 in my last mock. So, obviously, I think this is good value here by the Giants. To be able to get him, again, I think is really good value. He's a really nice corner outfielder, has some really nice contact tools, really nice power tools. I just think overall he's a very well-rounded hitter for his age. Isn't going to run the bases the best, isn't going to have the best arm or be the best fielder, but I think as a corner outfielder type is just going to be a very solid hitter. Guy with an 800 OPS consistently. I think personally just is a very good player, and I like the pick a lot. I like the pick a lot by San Francisco, and good job by them. I think, again, it was really good value, and to be able to get this talent at number 13 was a really good selection. 14, we have the Chicago Cubs selecting another Florida State player, Cam Smith. Cam Smith is a really, really nice corner infielder. Played third base at Florida State. I think that's really where he will stay in the MLB. Has some really nice hit tool. Isn't the best of the power. I still think still needs to develop hitting a little bit. May need to find a position as well. I'm not sure if he's going to play third base, first base, or the outfield. But I think the potential's there. I mean, has a really great body size, 6'3", 224, really fills out, is a fantastic prospect, and I think it was a really good pick by the Cubs to be able to fill in their farm system even more. I mean, they have just so many great, talented young players in this farm system, and to be able to get one like Cam Smith, I think was a really, really good pick, and props to them, and I really like him a lot. I like what he's able to do. Next, we have one of the most interesting selections in this entire draft. Number 15, we have the Seattle Mariners selecting, I apologize if I butcher this name, Urangelo Cliente. I think I got it right, but I'm not sure. So, if you don't know, Cliente is a switch pitcher. Yes, he's a switch pitcher, for real. he pitches with both arms. Like, it's not something that, he could do it. No, he did it a lot at Mississippi State, where he's from. Was picked 15th overall by the Mariners. The Mariners were connected a lot to him in the pre-draft process, so this is really not a surprise to me. And, man, is he a fascinating player. Now, I want to make it clear that they are picking him for his capabilities. As a right-handed pitcher, it does not seem very likely that he'll be able to continue switch pitching at the major league level. I mean, I remember the guy who did it with the Yankees and the A's. I forgot his name. I think his first name was Pat. I'm forgetting his other name, but his last name. But be able to just have that in your back pocket, like, I could throw righty and I could throw lefty at a high level. It's pretty crazy. But he's a first-round talent as a right-handed pitcher, probably a third or fourth as lefty. So I'm sure he'll be focusing on righty, but at the same time, it's good to have it in your back pocket that if you're facing maybe a guy, you're going to go to the Mariners. So let's say you're in the division, you're facing Yordan Alvarez, for example. To have that in your back pocket that you can be able to pitch to lefty, I think is something that's very valuable and very unique. So I think that definitely helped in the process of drafting him for a Mariner. So I think overall though he's a really good pick. He has a really nice fastball, very nice slider. Not sure about his other pitches. I think his changeup's a little weak. I think his control needs some help, but the raw tools are here. And if he just focuses on right-handed pitching, who knows how good he's going to be. So I really like this pick for Seattle. A very interesting pick, and really interesting as well. Next, we have the Miami Marlins selecting P.J. Morlando, an outfielder. Morlando's an interesting pick. I didn't really expect him to go this high in the draft, to be perfectly honest. I think it is a underslot value guy. I don't really think that he's someone that many people expected to go this high. 43 overall in MLB Pipeline's top 100 draft prospects. 19 years, still in college, was committed to South Carolina. I assume he's going to be signing, but we'll have to see. Some really nice power grade, though. A 55 hit grade, 50 power grade. Isn't the best of the arm. I think will be a corner outfitter, first base type, but can hit really well. Has a lot of good tools there. So Marlins must have liked him. They'll be able to sign some other guys in the future. So down the road, not the future, down the road for the second, third rounds, all that kind of stuff. So nice pick there by them. And overall, was an interesting pick that I am very interested to see where it will end up. So very interesting there. Next, we have the next pick from the Minnesota Twins. We have Braylon Payne. Actually, not the Minnesota Twins. Sorry, let me try to find his pick. What team picked him? I'm having a little bit of a that thing here. That was the Milwaukee Brewers. Sorry about that. I was thinking of a different player. Outfielder from Texas here, high school as well. So, I think Payne has a lot of good talent here with the bat. I think is a very good pick by the Milwaukee Brewers. Has a lot of potential within his body type, and as a bat, I think overall is a good player. And, I think the Brewers always know what they're doing, so I'm not really going to question them here. I think it's a very good pick, and props to them for being able to get it done. And, not much to say about him. I think overall, again, it is a good pick, and it's a guy that I think has a lot of talent. Next up, we have another high school player here from the drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays, 18th overall, Theo Gillen. Gillen is a infielder from Westlake, 60 hit tool, 55 power tool, 60 run tool. Again, is a really nice contact speed kind of player. Could be a guy who leads off for the Rays in the future. They always draft middle infielders because those are the most athletic players in the field. So they're able to switch around positions a lot in the future. So I like this pick a lot. I think he has really good tools, and I think it's a very Raysy type of pick, very kind of twitchy kind of guy. So I like this pick a lot, and props to them for being able to get it done. 19, we have my team, the New York Mets. We have selected Carson Bench, outfielder, right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma State. Now, this is the second Oklahoma State two-way player we have drafted in the last 2 years. We selected Nolan McLean as well, who actually was announced during this press conference because both of them are boys. They're pretty good friends, that he would just be focusing on pitching, so that is interesting. But Benj is the opposite. Benj was drafted as an outfielder. The Mets kept raving about him as a five-tool center fielder type, which I think is fair. I think he has the talent to be able to do that. Is a very, very good power-hitting outfielder. Is really, again, probably has the tools to be able to stick in center field as a player for the Mets in the future. Adds into this young outfield talent they have, just a young hitting core they have with guys like Chet Williams, Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna, Ryan Mauricio, Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos. I think is a really good pick. They've been connected to him a lot in the pre-draft process to be able to get him. I think is a really good job by them and their scouts. So really good pick here, and I think will add a lot to their young hitting core. Props to the Mets for being able to get it done. And finally, we have number 20 here from the Toronto Blue Jays, JioSaavn. I don't know how he fell to 20. This is a guy that most people had expected to go top 15, maybe even top 10. Is probably the number 3 consensus pitching prospect behind Hagen Smith and Chase Burns. And the Blue Jays being able to get him here at number 20 is really fantastic. I think this is a plus pitcher that is going to be able to come up to the major leagues in the next 1 to 2 years. It's going to really help out in their rotation. Maybe a shining light while this team goes through the rebuild that we all believe it's going to happen. So I think a really, really fantastic pick to be able to get JioSaavn, and I don't know how he fell, but an insane value pick by this Blue Jays team here, and props to them for being able to draft him and taking advantage of his slide. I think this is really one of the biggest surprises of the entire draft. So that is it for our segment 2 here, talking about picks 11 to 20. Moving into our third segment, which is going to be talking about picks 21 to 30. So yeah, we'll be doing that, and that'll be the end of our draft coverage after that. So yeah, going to the break. So we'll see you then. Thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk?